The VA secretary has not only been vocal about the government shutdown, but he has now written and posted an op-ed in The Hill, and that's what we're going to take a look at. I have not read this yet at all, so this is my first time reaction. And as always, watch this all the way to the end so we get the whole story. Also, it helps YouTube push this to more veterans that need. So here we go. Here's VA Secretary Doug Collins. He says, read my op-ed in At the Hill. Democrats' government shutdown is the ultimate display of hypocrisy. Okay, let's go give it a read. So here we go. By Doug Collins himself. This just came out, today, 7:30. I didn't know it came out today. I thought it was last night. All right, here we go. Okay, lots of ads. Congressional Democrats vote to shut down the government. Let me make this a little bigger for you. There we go. Vote to shut down the government is one of the biggest displays of hypocrisy in recent history. For the last 8 months, Democrats in Congress have accused the Trump admin of destroying the Department of Veteran Affairs, cutting benefits and services, and hurting veterans along the way. There's no truth to their claims, of course. In fact, VA is performing much better under President Trump than it did during the Biden administration. Okay. It's just funny that it links some things right there. The backlog of veterans waiting for VA benefits is down 45%, and we are processing more claims than ever. The department is spending an additional $800 million on infrastructure improvements to keep patients safe. We have offered more than 1.4 million appointments outside of regular working hours to increase customer service and convenience for veterans. And we have even opened 17 new healthcare clinics this year, bringing more care and convenience to veterans closer to home. The list goes on and on. All right, cool beans. Put a pause to that. But after spreading false accusations for months that the Trump admin is cutting services for veterans and making life miserable for VA employees, congressional Democrats voted to do both of those things for real. Their government shutdown has closed key parts of the department and is forcing thousands of our hardworking employees to go without pay. Specifically, because of the Democrats' government shutdown, here we go. There's a list. More than 30,000 VA employees will go without pay until the government reopens. VA will not provide veteran career counseling or transition assistance program activities. The GI Bill hotlines close. VA benefits regional offices will be closed. That will affect VA claims, by the way, new VA claims. VA will cease public affairs and outreach to veterans. VA will not permanently place headstones or maintain the grounds at VA national cemeteries. VA will not process applications for pre-need burials. VA will not print new presidential memorial certs. Anyone who thinks it unfair to blame Democrats for the shutdown doesn't have to take it from me. The legacy media, which never met a Democrat it didn't love, agrees with the Trump admin that Democrats did this to us. The AP memorialized the fact that Democrats voted for a shutdown. Now they have to find a way out. The New Yorker, meanwhile, tried to explain while Democrats shut down the government. The effects of Democrats' government shutdown extend far beyond the Department of Veteran Affairs. Economy-wide, the shutdown is costing an estimated $15 billion in U.S. GDP per week. Millions of American essential workers, who protect our nation are going without pay, including members of military, air traffic controllers, Border Patrol and Coast Guard crews, federal firefighters, and FBI agents. And federal contractors who aren't working because of the shutdown will never see back pay. A huge financial hit for families across the country. Meanwhile, the same Democrats who support the shutdown keep collecting their own paychecks. It gets even worse when you realize why Democrats impose these hardships on Americans. They want to give free health care to illegal immigrants. Their plan would result in nearly $200 billion spent on health care for illegal immigrants and non-other citizens over the next decade. They also want Medicaid to pay more for emergency care provided to illegal immigrants than it does for American patients who are disabled, elderly, or children. Thankfully, the government shutdown won't stop us from carrying out key parts of our mission. Veteran healthcare will not be affected by the shutdown. VA medical centers, outpatient clinics, and vet centers will remain open. VA benefits will continue to be processed and delivered, including compensation, pension, education, and housing benefits. Burials will continue at VA national cemeteries. Applications for headstones, markers, burial benefits processing will continue. The BVA will continue decisions on veterans' cases, and VA contact centers and the Veteran Crisis Line. This is like national too, like anyone can dial 988, are open 24/7. Good. The Democrats' shutdown is bad for everyone, but there's one silver lining. At least we finally know that Democrats have no problem putting policies ahead of veterans, VA employees, and other hardworking Americans. And that's it. All right. You can also just go see what else the VA secretary has said. That's the pin post there. What's shutting down with their government shutdown? Democrats are putting politics ahead of troops, veterans, and VA employees sick. And the post says Democrats say even missed paychecks for U.S. troops won't be enough to end the shutdown alone. The list just keeps going on. He's been on, dude, like every news station ever. He's been on Fox. He's been on CNN. That's Fox right there. He was on CNN. I want to show the CNN so people believe me. Here it is. All right. So he's going to everything. He's doing podcasts. He's doing everything. So yeah, that's his thoughts. I will tell you my thoughts. I think we're seeing, Jason from Veterans Info Tap said it on Veterans Daily. This is like we're seeing a VA secretary who is also a congressional member, and we're going to get both sides to that. And I think it's a bad thing, by the way, for a VA secretary to be asked forward politically versus just sticking with veterans. The issue I have with that personally, and if you're asking if I'm a Republican, the answer is no. If you're wondering if I'm a Democrat, that answer is also no. The issue I have with that is there are some diehard Democrats and Republicans, no matter which side of the aisle you're on, that are veterans that use the VA. And if the VA secretary does things like this, one way or the other, right now it's under Trump admin, so it's going to be that way. But I don't think it's bad news bears for any veteran, any VA secretary who is sort of alienating a very large, like half the country, with that. Now, one of the big things I have seen is that it's a Republican shutdown because the Republican controls the House, the Senate, all that stuff. That's like a selected truth because although the Republicans do control all of that, you still need, I think it's like 60 votes. Whatever number of votes you need in the Senate, there's only 50 something. So the Republicans are like 7 short. Don't quote me on any of this. I just know that they're short, so they need Democrat support. And so if you are going to make an argument about who's at fault for the shutdown, just be correct, right? I don't care either way. Just be correct. Okay, that's all I got. If you made it to the end, peace. Appreciate it.